Okay, now we get to the portion of the class where it's me preparing you for geometry and algebra 2, things you'll need to know. Okay, you have this list here. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I have all the numbers with perfect square roots, meaning square root of 4, 2, square root of 9, 3, square root of 16, 4, 25 is 5, and so on down the line. I stop here. I could keep going, but not going to need to. Now, simplify the expression. Now, you will not punch in a square root on your calculator, okay? That's not what this assignment's about. That will be incorrect, okay? Because that will not be accepted in geometry, and a lot of times I will not accept it in algebra 2. Okay, so this is how you simplify them without square rooting on the calculator. Square root of 100, well, that's obvious because 100's actually on my list right here. It equals 10, okay? Just put 10. Don't worry about positive, negative. You just put the answer. That one's easy. So if the number actually appears in a square root with an equal, you just put what it equals. Pretty easy. Okay, the square root of 63. Well, I don't get that lucky with 63, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 60. 63 is not on the list, okay? So what I do is I try to divide like crazy, trying to get 63 to divide without getting a decimal, okay? So all these numbers you see in the square roots, what two numbers is 63 between? It's between these two, 49 and 64. 63 is between these two. So I go up here and I start dividing like crazy, hoping I don't get a decimal. Okay, it's got to be divisible. So I take 63 divided by 49. That was a decimal. So now I move up the list. 63 divided by 36. That's a decimal. 63 divided by 25, that is a decimal. 63 divided by 16, that is a decimal. 63 divided by 9. Okay, finally I didn't get a decimal, so I dropped the calculator. And I make two square roots, okay? And I actually write a times dot between them. And I put this number first. The number that came from this little sheet, you want to put that on your first square root. So 9. And the answer I got was 7. So I put the answer I got right there. Okay? So you break it up. Now you cross out the first square root and replace it with what it's equal to, which is 3. Now, what do you do after that? Well, you can't take 3 times 7 because 3 is not in a square root and 7 is, okay? All you do is write 3 and put a square root 7 next to it. Just write this with the square root next to it. Much like when you take 3 times x, you put 3x, okay? All right, my next problem, the square root of 200. Now, 200's not on my list here. So I guess it'd be down further, so I'd start with 144, decimal, 121, decimal, 100. Okay, I didn't get a decimal, dropped the calculator. So I make two square roots, put a times dot between them. So I put the number from the list first, 100, and then the answer I got, 2. Needs to go in that order. The number from the list goes in the first square root and then 2. We cross this out and replace it with its equal, which is 10. Now, 10 times the square root of 2, you don't multiply 10 times 2. You just put 10 square root 2. Okay, next problem, square root 45. 45, is that under one of my square roots? No, it's not. It is between these two, okay, between these two. So I start with 35. So 45 divided by 36. 45 divided by 36 decimal. 45 divided by 25 decimal 1.8. 45 divided by 16 decimal. And 45 divided by 9. Okay, boom, got a whole number. So what I do again is I make 2 square roots, and I put the number from the list, 9, and the answer I got 5, because 9 times 5 is 45. I just break it into product of 2 square roots. Now I replace that with its equal. It's 3. So 3, and then you just put square root of 5 next to it. Okay, the square root of 112. Okay. 112, not on the list. Okay, so start dividing. Decimal. Decimal. 64. Decimal. 49. Decimal. 36 decimal. 25 decimal. 16. Okay, got a whole number. So I put 16. The number from the list goes first. And then I put 7. Okay, now you replace the first square root with its equal, which is 4. And then it's 4 square root 7. Okay, 343. Okay, 343 is off the list because it goes further, so I start at 144. Decimal. Decimal. Try 100. Decimal. Try 81. Decimal. Try 64. Decimal. Try 49. Bam, whole number. Okay. So I put the number I got from this list, 49. The number I divided by goes first, and then the answer I got. Okay, cross this out because that has an equal. It's 7. So don't multiply those. You put 7 square root 7. Okay, now 4 square root 12. Now don't worry about the 4. Look at your 12. Okay. Okay, so 12 would fall between these two. So 12 divided by 9. Decimal. 12 divided by 4. Boom. Okay, so I make 2 square roots. The number from the list, 4. And the number I got is my quotient, 3. Replace the 4 with its equal, which was 2. Now, here's what you do with that 4. The 4 is a multiplier. All you do is put 4 dot in front of the number, and you can take 4 times 2 because neither one of those are in square roots anymore. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then you put square root 3 next to it. Okay, square root 80. 80 is not on the list. It's between these two. So I'd start at the lower boundary, 64. Decimal. 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 Boom. Okay. So I make 2 square roots. I put the number from the list, 16. And the number I got here, 5. So you get rid of that because the square root of 16 has a nice equal of 4. And then you just take this 8, write 8 times in front of everything. And 8 times 4 is 32 because you want to times these two. Put square root 5.